The alien girl had encountered countless warriors across the galaxies. She had seen them rise and fall. She had watched them wield their weapons with skill and precision. She had fought against creatures of immense strength, beings with telepathic abilities, assassins with reflexes so fast they seemed to move through time itself, but nothing had prepared her for this human standing before her. His stance was not particularly imposing. His armor was not crafted from the legendary metals of the universe. His weapons were primitive by comparison to the energy infused blades and plasma rifles of her people, yet there was something in his eyes, something that sent a chill through her body, something that made her hesitate for the first time in her existence. He was wounded, his body battered from battle, his breath ragged, yet he did not falter, he did not cower, he did not surrender. She had seen warriors surrender before. Some pleaded for mercy, others accepted their fate with silent dignity, but this human did neither. He stood as if he had already accepted death, as if he had already decided that his life was no longer his own, but a vessel for something greater, something that could not be broken, something that could not be extinguished. She watched as he raised his weapon, a simple blade dulled from use, stained with the remnants of battle. She could end him now. She knew she had the speed, the strength, the precision to strike him down before he even completed his next breath, yet she did not move. She waited as if some unseen force compelled her to witness what he would do next. He took a step forward, slow, deliberate, heavy with purpose, his gaze locked onto hers, not with fear, not with anger, not with desperation, but with understanding. It was then that she realized he was not fighting to win, he was not fighting to survive, he was fighting because there was something inside him that refused to be defeated, something more powerful than any weapon, more resilient than any armor, something that no other warrior she had ever faced had possessed. He did not need to be the strongest, he did not need to be the fastest, he only needed to endure and endure. He did the battle raged on their movements, a blur to any ordinary onlooker. Strikes parried, dodged, countered. She had never fought an opponent like this. He was unpredictable, adapting with every second, learning her patterns, finding openings, exploiting weaknesses where there should have been none. He should have fallen long ago, and yet he remained standing, battered, bleeding, exhausted, but unbroken. Something deep within her stirred, something unfamiliar, something unsettling. Was this admiration? Was this respect? Was this fear? She had never feared before. She had never questioned her own superiority until now. She lunged forward, her blade slicing through the air, but at the last moment, he shifted his weight just enough to evade the strike, countering with a maneuver so precise it sent a jolt of pain through her side. She stumbled, her body reacting to the sensation of vulnerability, a sensation she had never known before. He could have finished her right then and there, but he did not. Instead, he lowered his weapon, taking a step back, offering her a chance to rise. She met his gaze once more, and in that instant she understood. He was unlike any warrior she had ever faced, not because of his strength, not because of his skill, but because of his spirit, unyielding, unbreakable, infinite. She rose to her feet, her body aching, her mind racing with thoughts she had never entertained before. She had been raised to believe in dominance, in victory, in conquest, yet here she was standing before an opponent who had every right to end her, yet refused to do so. She knew this human had taught her something that no battle ever had. True strength was not about crushing one's enemies, but about knowing when to show mercy, when to fight, and when to stop. She lowered her weapon, stepping back, acknowledging something she never thought she would surrender, not of body, but of belief. For the first time in her life she had lost, and yet in that loss she had found something greater. She had found understanding. She turned away, leaving the battlefield behind, leaving the war behind, leaving behind the warrior she once was. As she vanished into the shadows of the universe, she carried with her a lesson that would change her forever. She wandered through the stars, through uncharted nebulae, through the silent ruins of long-forgotten civilizations. She searched for meaning in the echoes of the universe. She had once believed power was the only truth, but now she questioned everything. She had spent her life fighting, conquering, proving her strength, but for the first time she felt small. She felt the vastness of existence stretching endlessly before her, and she realized that there was more to the cosmos than battle, more than the clash of steel and the roar of war. She wanted to understand, she wanted to learn, she wanted to become something greater. One day she would return to her people, but not as the warrior they had once known. She would return with knowledge, with wisdom, with the story of a human who had changed her forever, and perhaps in telling that story she would change them too.